Hi, welcome to the Career Exploration Toolkit workshop. I'm Lindsay, one of the Associate Directors of the Advising and Programs team at Beyond Barnard. In our time together, we'll talk about career exploration and introduce Beyond Barnard's new career exploration resources. If you have not done so, please sign in the Google Doc in the chat box. Before we get started, I just want to plug the Beyond Barnard Summer Colloquium 2020. We're hosting a ton of workshops and webinars this summer and hope that you can come to more than this one. The full list with descriptions can be found on this website here, and you can RSVP for whatever interests you on Handshake. There's some great events coming up, so don't miss out. In this workshop, we will talk about the what, why, when, and how of career exploration. Then I will preview the new Career Exploration Toolkit. And with whatever time is left, I'll answer your questions. So what is career exploration? Career exploration is the process of figuring out where and how you want to use your talents in a professional space. The key word of that sentence is process, because that's exactly what it is. Career exploration isn't as simple as you do this one thing and then you figure it all out. It takes time, effort, research, and analysis to really get it right. Career exploration is as much about knowing careers as it is about knowing yourself. Often, exploration is approached as an activity that helps you know what is out there so you can then see where you could fit. A better approach is to understand yourself, what your skills are, what you like and dislike doing, what you're interested in at a professional level, and then see what careers match those things. While this may seem like two sides of the same coin, the latter approach is preferred because it allows you, the career explorer, to have more options. Instead of trying to fit yourself into a path, you have the agency to find multiple pathways that could work for you. So 90-second brainstorm. Now that we have a working definition of what career exploration is, reflect on your process thus far. What do you think your next step in exploration should be? When the time is up, I will change the slide. About 30 seconds left. You can think about this, brainstorm. You can also write it down and refer back to it later. The process is up to you. So in this next section, we will go through the why and when of career exploration. So why is career exploration a good thing? So I can really feel you guys rolling your eyes on this one, and I get it. You're Barnard students. Not having your next steps planned out is probably very destabilizing and extremely stressful. But I promise you, feeling like you have to explore careers is a really good thing. The act of exploring careers maximizes your ultimate satisfaction. If you take the time, put in the work, and trust the process, then you are less likely to spin your wheels in a job and a career path that aren't right for you. Not knowing what you want to do is only bad if you do nothing about it. Your future self will thank you for taking this process seriously. So when should you explore careers? The real answer is always. You should always be engaged in some sort of career exploration because both you and the world of work are always changing. Think about the number of job titles and even industries that didn't exist 5 or 10 years ago. Staying on top of what is out there is a key aspect to any solid career development plan. In the more immediate time frame, however, it's good to do some level of career exploration whenever you feel like your interests and priorities are changing. These changes are a natural part of your development as a college student, so it's only right that the thing that you may want to do after graduation will change along with it. So in this next part, we'll talk about the how of career exploration by discussing strategies for getting you the information that you'll need. The how of career exploration is probably what brought you here in the first place, but I felt like we needed to get on the same page before jumping into some of the concrete strategies. Also, know that the next 2 workshops in this series will dig much deeper into specific how-tos, so be sure to tune into those as well. From a mile high, here are some strategies that you can use to kickstart your career exploration process. They're presented in an order that could seem like steps, but you definitely don't have to do them one after the other to get a good result. And all of these strategies that we'll touch on here and then also work through in the series and you'll see on the Career Exploration Toolkit can be adapted to meet you where you are. So the first is self-assessment. Self-assessment is exactly what it sounds like and is the cornerstone to any career exploration plan. It is a process of examining things like your skills, values, interests, and preferences in order to get a stronger sense of who you are and what you may enjoy doing as a career. There are a number of ways to assess yourself, including activities that you can do on your own and some more formal assessments, also thought of as career tests, that are interpreted by another party. The next workshop in this series is all about self-assessment, so be sure to watch that webinar to learn more. Career path research helps the career explorer know what's out there. It is good to do this after you've done some level of self-assessment so you can have some guidance on what you're looking for. By knowing yourself before looking at options, you can more easily rule out pathways that aren't a good fit for you, no matter how attractive they may be otherwise. The information to assist you with this can be found in a few places. The most promising are career information sites like onet.org and the Occupational Outlook Handbook. But also you can find information on job posting sites like Indeed and Handshake. By using both of these types of sources, you'll be able to get macro and micro level information about the pathways that interest you. Informational interviews are networking conversations where you talk to people whose jobs you're interested in about their career experiences. They're great ways to get more understanding about what things are really like in the fields that you've been researching. The Barnard Network is a great place to start finding people to speak to because 1, you have a strong foundation of common experiences to jumpstart your conversation. And 2, it's a very active network that likes to take care of its own. You can find people to speak to on websites like LinkedIn and Barnard Connect. Building a professional network is very important because it will also be able to assist you in the long term. Once you identify your stronger areas of interest, these individuals in your network may be able to connect you with opportunities that you can gain more hands-on experience. This hands-on experience is one of the most valuable ways to gain the information necessary to make a smart career decision. No matter how much research you do or how many people you talk to, nothing compares to getting in the sandbox and making your own mess. While jobs and internships are traditional ways to get this type of experience, they're not the only ways. Volunteering and job shadowing are also good ways to gain more understanding about who you want to be as a professional. These types of experiences are also great ways to network your way into a job or internship later on. What these strategies look like in real time is up to you. The process of exploring careers looks different depending on what each person is looking for and when they are looking for it. A rising senior with internship experiences in a variety of fields will come at this from a different place and perspective than a rising sophomore with a year of on-campus employment experience. A rising junior who has experience in one industry may engage in different information gathering activities than a recent alum who is working a 9-to-5. The point is you can and should, emphasis on the should, tailor this process to meet your needs. So in this next 90-second brainstorm, we have a better understanding of what career exploration actually entails. I want you to reflect further on the process. What do you think your next step should be now that you know what some more concrete steps are in your career exploration? Once the 90 seconds is up, the slide will change. So go. About 30 seconds left. Okay, so in this final section before the Q&A, we will walk through the new Career Exploration Toolkit page. So this is, get to the home page first. This is the Career Exploration Toolkit, and it is our new resource site that is designed to facilitate your career exploration with some activities and all that fun stuff that I just talked about. So once you get to this site, and we'll give you access from the sign-in sheet, then you can click Start Here to get to the modules page. And so in the first module, which is aptly titled Start Here, will be the webinars from the Career Exploration series. So this one, the Career Exploration Toolkit, then the strategies for self-assessment, and then finally the connecting yourself to jobs and industries. So even if you see these in real time, it'll be really great to revisit them as you go through the toolkit, because each part may make more sense as you're starting your process to explore careers. The second part has exploration questions, and so they're pretty much like short answer. I suggest writing down the answers just so that you can reflect back on them later on. But each one is a top level question, and then if you click on it, it'll give you some other things to think about related to it. So for this one, what did you want to be when you grow up? When somebody asks you, what do you want to be when you grow up? What did you say? So this will help you dig into that, into why, how you feel about that now, if there are more connections to kind of like what you were thinking about and where that started, just thinking about like your origin story a little bit. And then one like this, which is more explicitly about work and working with people and teams, help you understand that what you're doing now does reflect on your career exploration. So even if you've never worked before, you've probably done, class activities or teamwork activities. And so thinking about what role you tend to take and why, these questions really help you dig deep into connecting some of your experiences, your current experiences, to what could happen in the world of work. We're starting with this, there are 10 here, but we're going to add more, swap things out, maybe rephrase as people start to use it and we get feedback, but we don't want to overwhelm with a bunch of questions. These are just some of the more common ones that we see when we're talking with students in career exploration appointments. So the next part are exploration activities. And so it's like the questions there, something top level, then you dig a lot deeper, but they'll really help with that sort of information that you'll need to move forward. So something like ranking career values, you'll see there's a lot more here, but also, all of them will give you like the steps to what you should be doing. So for this one with career values, ranking career values, and then reflecting on your ranking. So these are just some, but This should give you a sense of what some of these activities are. Not all of them are that in-depth, but all of them do require some time and some effort and thought so that you are then able to use that information moving forward. And then finally, there are additional resources, so assessment activities. And after you watch the self-assessment workshop, a lot of this may make more sense about kind of the differences between self-assessment and interpreted assessments, but also kind of like the information that you can gather from each of these. Next in the other sections are career information. So one of the strategies that we talked about before was doing that career path research. And these are the sites that you'll want to use to be able to facilitate that process. So ONET is a great, very robust career development site that has, job outlook, there's hot careers versus like things that you may want to need for them, different work environments, the tasks involved. It is a very robust site that has information on anything you're interested in and then anything adjacent to what you're interested in. Bureau of Labor Statistics and Occupational Outlook Handbook are both products of the Government Bureau of Labor Statistics, and the first site gives a really top level idea of what a career looks like, and then Occupational Outlook gives kind of what it may take to get into it. Similar to ONET, it's a little more accessible but not as robust. And finally, Career One Stop has really interesting videos and other ways to just access similar information. And then finally, our Barnard resources. So beyond Barnard, if your research brings you back to maybe looking at fellowships or looking at maybe some of our 4+1 pathways, you can get some of that information on that site. Handshake, what we know and love. Barnard Connect, the almost a year old mentorship platform that connects students with alums for Q&As, also forming the foundations of networking relationships, mentor relationships. And then here's a direct link to the Barnard alum filter on LinkedIn. And so you'll be able to search through a larger listing of alums than you may find on Barnard Connect and sort of do some of that career path research that we talked about before. So that is the toolkit, and you'll get access to it if you signed in with your uni. And so definitely use this resource to really start to ask yourself the really important questions about what you'll want to do in the future. And then also once you get stuck or when you're thinking about things, if you want to be soundboard or whatever, then really use this site to facilitate stronger, deeper conversations with an advisor. Now I'm going to go back to our slides so that we can move on. So now it's time for the Q&A. As you queue them up in the chat or gather yourself for a live question, just a few more take-home points. So before we conclude, here are a few other things to remember. There's no right or wrong way to do career exploration. If you're learning something about yourself as it relates to the world of work, then congrats, you're doing career exploration. Also, there is no most important time to do career exploration. A lot of students have in their heads that the summer after junior year is when you really need to have all of these things figured out. And that's not true at all. Starting before junior year will help give you more opportunity to have hands-on experiences that can facilitate this. But plenty of people use senior year and even the first few years of post-grad work to get a better sense of where they are and what they want their career to do. If you get stuck and need to talk about what you're learning or discovering or need a soundboard, like I said, Beyond Barnard is literally always here. We'll work with you through this process. We'll kind of ask you some of the deeper questions, some of the next level questions that you may need to kind of take you and help you make some initial decisions. Since we don't get summer, winter, or spring breaks, we are literally always here, so you're not alone in this process. So thanks for attending the Career Exploration Workshop. If you have questions, feel free to ask them by either unmuting yourself or putting it in the chat box. If you plan to go, please sign in the Google Doc, and thanks again.